Ever wondered how Amish families manage 30 draft horses when modern stables struggle with 10? It's not just feeding, but 6 to 8 hours of daily labor, managing 750 pounds of hay, 180 pounds of grain, and 450 gallons of water. This is professional animal management replacing tractors. Pre-dawn feeding. The day begins between 4:30 and 5 o'clock a.m. when the farmer and his teenage sons wake in darkness to begin the first feeding the most critical meal, setting horses up for the day's work and establishing the routine that keeps 30 animals healthy and productive. The hay feeding consumes the bulk of morning work. Each horse receives 20 to 25 pounds of hay, approximately half a small square bale or one-fifth of a large round bale. With 30 horses, this means 600 to 750 pounds of hay must be distributed, requiring multiple trips from the hay storage to the barn carrying armloads of hay or pushing wheelbarrows loaded with bales. The hay quality matters enormously. First cutting hay harvested in late May or early June is coarser and less nutritious, but provides necessary bulk and fiber for digestive health. Second cutting hay from July or August is finer, more nutritious, and more expensive, typically reserved for working horses needing maximum energy. Third cutting hay from September, if weather permits, is the finest and most expensive, sometimes used for pregnant mares or horses recovering from illness. The grain feeding follows the hay distribution. Each horse receives 4 to 6 pounds of oats, corn, or commercial horse feed, depending on their workload and age. Working horses pulling plows or wagons get 6 pounds, horses with lighter work get 4 to 5 pounds, and retired horses or those not currently working get minimal grain or none at all. The 30 horses collectively consume 120 to 180 pounds of grain daily. The feeding is individual, not communal. Each horse has its own stall or feeding station where it receives its ration without competition from others. This individual feeding allows the farmer to monitor each horse's eating behavior, immediately noticing if a horse doesn't finish its feed, which signals potential illness or injury requiring investigation. Group feeding in communal areas makes this monitoring impossible and allows dominant horses to steal food from submissive ones. The water check happens simultaneously with feeding. Each horse drinks 10 to 15 gallons daily under normal conditions, increasing to 15 to 20 gallons during hot weather or heavy work. The 30 horses collectively require 300 to 450 gallons daily, roughly equivalent to filling a small above-ground swimming pool every single day. The water source varies by farm. Some use automatic waterers, frost-free units providing constant access to fresh water. Others use buckets that must be filled multiple times daily, requiring carrying water or using hoses. In winter, automatic waterers prevent freezing, while bucket systems require breaking ice and providing fresh, unfrozen water multiple times daily. The labor difference is substantial. Automatic waterers save 30 to 60 minutes daily, but cost $800 to $1,200 to install per waterer. The morning feeding round takes 60 to 90 minutes total. 10 to 15 minutes preparing and hauling hay and grain, 40 to 60 minutes distributing feed to 30 individual horses, and 10 to 15 minutes checking water and making observations about each horse's condition and behavior. This must happen 7 days per week, 365 days per year, regardless of weather, holidays, or the farmer's personal circumstances. Health inspection. The feeding time doubles as daily health inspection, with the farmer observing every horse carefully for signs of illness, injury, or behavioral changes indicating problems requiring attention before they become serious. The visual assessment begins as the farmer approaches each stall. A healthy horse typically greets the feeder with interest, moving toward the front of the stall and nickering softly in anticipation of breakfast. A horse standing in the back corner, lying down during feeding time, or showing no interest in food signals potential problems requiring immediate investigation. The eyes are inspected for clarity and alertness. Healthy horse eyes are bright, clear, and responsive to movement. Cloudy eyes, excessive tearing, swelling around the eye, or squinting indicates eye injury or infection. The nose and nostrils are checked for discharge. Clear discharge might be normal, but thick yellow or green mucus signals respiratory infection requiring veterinary attention. The coat condition indicates overall health. A healthy horse in good condition has a shiny, smooth coat lying flat against the body. A dull, rough coat, hair standing up, or patches of hair loss suggest poor nutrition, parasites, or illness. In summer, the coat should be short and sleek. In winter, the thick coat should be full and even without bare patches. The stance and movement are evaluated. A horse standing with weight evenly distributed on all four legs is comfortable and sound. A horse resting one hind leg is normal. Horses rest hind legs alternately while standing. But a horse pointing a front foot forward or holding a leg off the ground indicates pain in that leg requiring examination. When the horse moves to its feed bucket, the farmer watches for limping, stiffness, or reluctance to move, suggesting lameness. The eating behavior is carefully monitored. A horse that dives into its hay and grain enthusiastically is healthy and comfortable. A horse that sniffs the feed but doesn't eat, eats slowly, drops food from its mouth, or leaves feed uneaten requires investigation. Dental problems, throat pain, digestive upset, or serious illness all manifest as changes in eating behavior. The manure is observed for quantity, consistency, and color. Normal horse manure is formed into balls roughly the size of a baseball, slightly moist but not runny, and dark brown to greenish brown in color. Diarrhea indicates digestive upset or illness. Very hard, dry manure suggests dehydration. No manure in a stall that should contain overnight droppings is a serious warning sign. Horses that stop defecating might be developing colic, a potentially fatal digestive emergency. The time investment for thorough health inspection is substantial. Spending just 15 to 20 minutes carefully observing each horse during feeding and throughout the day totals 7.5 to 10 hours weekly, roughly one full workday per week, devoted entirely to watching horses for subtle signs of problems. This investment prevents the far greater time and expense of treating serious illness or injury that develops when problems are ignored. The early detection capability this daily inspection provides is the primary advantage horses have over tractors beyond their obvious power production. A tractor provides no warning before catastrophic failure. The engine simply seizes, or a transmission breaks with no advance notice. Horses telegraph problems days or weeks before they become serious through subtle behavioral and physical changes that experienced horsemen recognize immediately. Stall mucking. The daily stall cleaning is the most physically demanding and time-consuming aspect of horse care, requiring 10 to 15 total hours daily to remove manure and soiled bedding from 30 stalls, replace it with fresh straw, and manage the resulting 1,200 to 1,500 pounds of manure. Each horse produces 40 to 50 pounds of manure daily, roughly 8 to 10 piles of manure weighing 4 to 6 pounds each. A horse also urinates 5 to 6 times daily, saturating bedding in specific areas where it habitually urinates. The combination of manure and soiled bedding removed from a single stall weighs 60 to 80 pounds daily. The cleaning process begins with the pitchfork, a long-handled fork with widely spaced tines, allowing clean bedding to fall through while capturing manure and soiled straw. The farmer or his sons enter each stall, systematically fork through the bedding, picking out all visible manure, and remove heavily soiled bedding from the urination areas. The clean bedding is pushed to the stall sides, the center is swept clean of remaining debris, and fresh straw bedding is spread to restore comfortable depth. The time requirement is 20 to 30 minutes per stall for thorough cleaning, not just removing obvious manure, but digging through bedding to find hidden piles, scraping the floor in heavily soiled areas, and ensuring the entire stall is genuinely clean. Multiplied by 30 stalls, this represents 10 to 15 hours of labor that must happen daily without exception. The labor is typically divided among multiple family members. The farmer might clean 10 stalls, his 16-year-old son might clean 10 stalls, and his 14-year-old son might clean the remaining 10 stalls. Working simultaneously, 3 people can complete all 30 stalls in 2 to 3 hours, but this still represents 6 to 9 total man-hours of labor daily. The physical demands are substantial. Each stall cleaning requires bending, lifting, carrying, and throwing dozens of times, lifting forkfuls of soiled bedding weighing 5 to 8 pounds, throwing them into a wheelbarrow or directly onto the manure pile, and pushing loaded wheelbarrows weighing 100 to 150 pounds to the manure pile and dumping them. The repetitive motion strains backs, shoulders, and arms, particularly for boys still developing adult strength. The bedding material is typically wheat straw or oat straw purchased in large square bales weighing 50 to 70 pounds or round bales weighing 800 to 1,200 pounds. Each stall requires 1 to 2 wheelbarrows of fresh straw daily to replace the soiled bedding removed, meaning 30 stalls consume 30 to 60 wheelbarrows, approximately 2 to 4 large square bales, or 1/4 to 1/2 of a round bale daily. At $3 to $5 per small square bale or $40 to $60 per round bale, bedding costs $300 to $600 monthly, or $3,600 to $7,200 annually. The manure management represents another challenge. 30 horses producing 40 to 50 pounds of manure each generate 1,200 to 1,500 pounds daily, roughly 3/4 of a ton. Over a year, this totals 219,000 to 274,000 pounds or 110 to 137 tons of manure, requiring disposal or utilization. Most Amish farms compost horse manure for 3 to 6 months, allowing it to decompose and kill weed seeds, then spread it on gardens and crop fields as natural fertilizer. The composting pile must be turned occasionally to aerate it. Water must be added during dry periods to maintain decomposition, and the finished compost must be hauled to fields and spread, adding additional labor throughout the year. The alternative is spreading fresh manure directly on fields, which is faster but risks burning crops with excess nitrogen and spreading weed seeds throughout the farm. Some farmers sell composted horse manure to gardeners and landscapers, generating $100 to $300 monthly in income offsetting feed costs, but this requires customer management and regular delivery, adding to the workload. Grooming process. The working horses, typically 6 to 8 of the 30 horses in regular rotation, must be groomed before harnessing each morning, removing dirt, loose hair, and debris that would cause irritation under harness straps and preventing the sores that develop when dirty horses are worked in harness. The grooming begins with the curry comb, a rubber or plastic oval tool with short nubs that's rubbed in circular motions across the horse's coat, loosening dirt, dried sweat, and dead hair. The curry comb is used on the horse's neck, shoulders, back, and hindquarters, the areas where harness makes contact. The belly and legs receive lighter curry combing since harness doesn't contact these areas. The face is not curry combed as the tool is too harsh for the sensitive facial skin. The body brush follows the curry comb, using stiff bristles to sweep away the dirt and hair loosened by currying. The brush is used in short, firm strokes following hair growth direction, removing the debris the curry comb brought to the surface. The brushing creates the smooth coat necessary for harness to slide properly during work. A rough coat catches on harness leather, creating friction that causes sores within hours of work. The hoof pick is the most critical grooming tool, despite its simplicity. This small metal hook is used to clean out the bottom of each hoof, removing packed dirt, manure, and stones that lodge in the triangular frog area and around the shoe if the horse is shod. The farmer picks up each foot, braces it against his knee or thigh, and systematically scrapes out all debris, ensuring nothing is embedded that would cause lameness or discomfort during work. The hoof inspection during picking identifies problems before they become serious. Small stones wedged beside shoes can create pressure points, leading to bruising. Packed mud can harbor bacteria, causing thrush, a foul-smelling infection of the frog tissue. Cracks in the hoof wall might indicate the need for earlier farrier visit before the crack splits further. Loose shoes discovered during hoof picking can be tightened or removed before the horse steps on them during work-causing injury. The mane and tail combing is optional but recommended, removing tangles and burrs that accumulate during pasture time. The tail particularly needs attention because horses use it to swish flies, and a tangled tail is less effective at fly control. Some farmers trim mane and tail hair short for easier maintenance, while others leave them natural, believing the length helps with temperature regulation and fly defense. The grooming time is 15 to 20 minutes per horse for thorough work. 6 horses groomed daily require 90 to 120 minutes, 1.5 to 2 hours of labor before any actual farm work begins. This time investment is non-negotiable. Working a dirty horse in harness causes sores that render the horse unusable for days or weeks until healing, costing far more in lost work than the grooming time investment. The younger family members often handle grooming, with children as young as 10 able to curry, comb, and brush under supervision, and teenagers performing complete grooming independently by age 14. This distributes the labor while also training the next generation in proper horse care, transmitting the knowledge and skills necessary to maintain the farm's horse-powered operations. Harnessing system. The draft horse harness is a complex assembly of leather straps, metal hardware, and padding weighing 40 to 60 pounds per horse and requiring 10 to 15 minutes to properly fit, tighten, and adjust for each working horse every single day. The harness begins with the collar, a padded leather ring that fits around the horse's neck and shoulders, transferring pulling force from the horse to the equipment. The collar must fit precisely. Too tight restricts breathing and circulation. Too loose shifts during work, creating sores. The collar size is matched to each individual horse, and collars cannot be swapped between horses of different sizes. The hames are the rigid, curved metal or wood pieces that fit into grooves on the collar's outer surface, providing attachment points for the trace's pulling straps that connect to the equipment. The hames are secured to the collar with a leather strap at top and bottom, cinched tightly so they don't shift during work. The traces are heavy leather straps 6 to 8 feet long and 2 to 3 inches wide that run from the hames back to the singletree, the pivoting bar that attaches to the plow, wagon, or other equipment. The traces bear all the pulling force. When a horse leans into its collar to pull, the force transmits through the collar to the hames, to the traces, to the equipment. The traces must be strong enough to handle several thousand pounds of pulling force without breaking. The back strap runs along the horse's back from the collar to the breeching, the strap around the hindquarters, supporting the traces and preventing them from dropping below the proper height. The back strap must lie flat without twisting, sitting in the slight depression along the horse's spine without creating pressure points. The belly band or girth wraps around the horse's barrel behind the front legs, holding the harness assembly in position and preventing it from shifting backward during work. The belly band must be snug but not tight. The farmer should be able to fit a flat hand between the band and the horse's body. Too tight restricts breathing. Too loose allows the harness to shift and rub. The breeching wraps around the horse's hindquarters, allowing the horse to hold back or back up when pulling a load, essentially functioning as brakes. When the horse moves forward, the breeching hangs loosely. When the horse holds back or backs up, it presses against the breeching, which transmits force through the harness to the equipment, causing it to stop or back up. The bridle fits over the horse's head, including the bit that sits in the horse's mouth, providing steering control through the reins. The bridle must fit precisely. Too loose, and it shifts or falls off too tight, and it pinches, causing head shaking or resistance. The bit must sit at the proper height in the mouth, resting on the bars, the toothless gap between front and back teeth, without hitting teeth or hanging too low. The complete harnessing sequence takes 10 to 15 minutes per horse for an experienced person working efficiently. With 6 to 8 horses needing harnessing daily, this represents 60 to 120 minutes of work, 1 to 2 hours before any field work or hauling begins. The unharnessing at day's end takes similar time, meaning 2 to 4 hours daily are consumed just putting harness on and taking it off. The harness maintenance is ongoing. Leather dries out and cracks if not regularly oiled with neat's foot oil or similar leather conditioner. Metal hardware rusts if not cleaned and protected. Stitching weakens and breaks over time, requiring repair. Each harness requires 4 to 6 hours of maintenance annually, meaning 30 horses worth of harness requires 120 to 180 hours yearly. 3 to 4 full weeks of work maintaining equipment that modern farmers replaced with tractors requiring far less. Maintenance. Workday management. The actual work performed by horses is carefully managed to prevent exhaustion, injury, or overheating that would render animals unusable and threaten the farm's operational capacity. The maximum workday length is 6 to 8 hours for a draft horse pulling typical agricultural loads plowing, cultivating, hauling wagons, or powering equipment. This isn't continuous work, but includes regular rest breaks, water stops, and reduced effort during the hottest parts of summer days. Pushing horses beyond this limit causes rapid deterioration in their condition and increases injury risk dramatically. The rotation system ensures no individual horse works excessive days consecutively. A 30-horse herd allows rotating teams so individual horses might work 3 to 4 days per week rather than 6 days, providing adequate rest for muscle recovery and preventing the cumulative fatigue that develops when animals work daily without breaks. The rotation also allows matching specific horses to specific tasks. The largest, strongest horses pull the plow. Medium horses handle cultivating. Smaller horses pull lighter wagons. The team matching is critical for efficiency and safety. Horses pull together as teams of 2, 4, or even 6 animals hitched side by side or in tandem, and these teams must be matched for size, speed, and temperament. Pairing a fast-walking horse with a slow-walking partner creates conflict as each tries to move at its preferred pace. Pairing a calm horse with a nervous, high-strung partner causes stress as the calm horse tolerates the nervous horse's fidgeting and unpredictability. The water breaks happen every 2 hours during work, more frequently during hot weather or heavy pulling. The farmer unhitches the team from the equipment, leads them to water, allows them to drink until satisfied, and provides 10 to 15 minutes rest before rehitching and resuming work. The horses drink 3 to 5 gallons during these breaks, preventing the dehydration that rapidly leads to exhaustion and overheating. The rest periods during extreme heat are non-negotiable. When summer temperatures exceed 85 to 90 degrees, field work stops during midday hours from roughly 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. when heat stress risk is highest. The horses rest in shade or in the barn, receive water, and might be sponged with cool water if they're overheated. Work resumes in late afternoon when temperatures drop. This reduced work schedule during hot months means tasks take longer to complete but protects the animals from life-threatening heat exhaustion. The workload adjustment by age accounts for horses' varying capabilities. Young horses aged 3 to 5 are still developing adult strength and musculature, receiving lighter assignments like pulling small cultivators or empty wagons rather than heavy plows. Mature horses aged 6 to 14 are in their physical prime, handling the heaviest work. Senior horses aged 15 and older remain capable, but receive reduced workloads, acknowledging their declining stamina and increased arthritis or chronic lameness, affecting many older horses. The monitoring during work requires constant attention from the driver. The farmer watches each horse's breathing rapid. Shallow breathing indicates distress, requiring immediate rest. He observes their gait, watching for limping or stiffness indicating pain. He checks their coat. Excessive foaming sweat suggests overheating. He listens to their breathing. Raspy or wheezing sounds indicate respiratory distress. Any concerning signs trigger immediate work stoppage, unhitching, and rest until the horse recovers. Midday care. The noon break provides opportunity for additional feeding, water replenishment, and monitoring of horses both at rest and those working in the fields. The second hay feeding happens around noon, providing additional roughage that horses digest slowly throughout the afternoon. Each horse receives another 10 to 15 pounds of hay, less than the morning feeding, but sufficient to maintain digestive function and prevent the hunger that causes behavioral problems. The 30 horses consume 300 to 450 pounds of hay at noon, requiring 30 to 45 minutes to distribute. The grain feeding at noon is optional and depends on workload. Horses working hard in the fields receive another 3 to 4 pounds of grain, providing energy for afternoon work. Horses resting for the day receive little or no noon grain, preventing excess calorie consumption that leads to obesity in horses not burning those calories through work. The working horses might consume 60 to 80 pounds of grain collectively at noon. The water refill is critical during summer months when horses drink heavily. Water troughs are topped off, buckets are refilled, and automatic waterers are checked to ensure proper function. During winter, ice must be broken on water